Hi, welcome. You're listening to Waking Up with Plants. My name is Madeleen and I work with the consciousness of plants. The plants provide us this season with a real sequel. The messages are very much interlocking and speaking through each other. What I perceive in the information field that this podcast is, they give us holographic information. So a beautiful large bubble filled with surround sound, multi-sensory information. And the words you hear are openings, windows into this information. So as you listen, imagine yourself in this bubble and see what more information you can pick up. What I perceived strongly with listening to the message for this episode, I find very exciting, very beautiful, that the previous episodes have left an imprint that became somewhat transparent with the new plants sharing their story, so we can hear it clearly. But while they share, parts of the previous messages light up. So what they actually do is continue adding to and color in the energy painting that is already here. So through time they can provide us with a more and more full spectrum of the story of life that they want to bring in our awareness. Today Red Clover will start their 3-part message and continue where planting ended last moon, with a field that keeps us in form and our cosmic antenna that can tap into any information. If you did the Plant Session, you will have worked with this. Clover will expand on this, and I thought to give you some background information now on quantum physics, but they don't want me to explain anything at this point, so I won't. And I will give you the first part of their message. This is Red Clover for you, wherever you find yourself in this moment in time. I am here to bring the meadow in your consciousness and invite you to imagine everything I share as vividly as possible. Note, not as a screen that you look at and where you stand outside, but a vision that you are in, part of, with bare feet on the ground. See yourself in the story I bring. Don't look at it. This is very important. And become aware of where you see yourself in this meadow. What's your position? And make a note of this, so you can let this speak to you further in the coming period. What insights it gives. What does your body want to tell you about the place where you are now in relation to the whole? Here. Actually, I already said everything that I wanted to share in this message. If I stop now, what would you say my message was? Do you feel how this question activates? Activates you? It doesn't leave you to be the passive listener that you expected to be. Hope to be, perhaps. Leaning back until I tell you exactly what I mean. I can't tell you anything. I can't impose any truth onto you. Or that's possible if you take that position. Then you swallow what I share and reject it, accept it, or struggle with it. But that's not a conversation. And even though I'm the one speaking now, this is a conversation. Every connection in your life is a conversation. You are always on the other side of the line, participatory, conscious or not. There is transmitting and receiving. But feel what I'm saying here. That sending and receiving takes place in a listening space. that carries our messages. With you and me in this space, without us speaking, the conversation has already begun. You come with your field of information, I with mine, as two ingredients in a soup or potion held in a cauldron or glass. What is this mix creating? Now, with your specific mix of the moment and mine, a unique combination of two melodies that sound together on the sheet music of life, the listening space. What does our song sound like? What songs do you make with the connections in your life? What do they sound like? You have probably experienced that your song sounds different in relation to different places, times, topics, people or other beings. The mixes create different resonance bodies, which feel different. We are made of relations. Our body is made of relations, your oxygen, my carbon. Every element in your body belongs to different families, communities, collectives. The iron in your blood and in the earth's core know each other and are in direct contact with each other. And each collective has specific relationships with other elements. And besides the body, your consciousness that lives within the body also consists of connections. We exist in our entirety through and for connections. And together we form one large field of connections. I invite you to feel your reaction to this. Because although many people strive for a systemic view of life where everything is connected, and the embodiment of unity consciousness, often this also activates a resistance. If you are one with everything, and everything is one with you, where are you then? The idea of I. There is an awareness of the self, of finding identity that is based on othering. I am this, therefore you are not, and this is how I orientate myself in life. I am purple, you are blue, you're big, I'm small. I win, you lose, I'm failing, you're successful, the other is lucky, not me, or if I am, I can lose it. Don't get me wrong, there are differences. Differences are important. Unity consciousness is not based on filtering out differences. I'm talking about your systemic programming of the others out there. What looks to me like a system of broken connections. No longer recognizing you in me and me in you. In your collective, this programming results in a huge charge of being victim and perpetrator. Because if one place is already occupied, it's taken. So you have to take what's left. Unless you fight for it, right? Do you feel the system of lack that you've installed as software in your listening space? Time for an update. Behold, we of the plant world, we the non-humans over here, have not accepted this duality as lens. Otherwise, I would have carried 2 leaves and not 3. Plants know, while we can stand as 2 dots opposite each other in all our differences, that all our consciousness, that of our body and that of the spirit living in the body, have their origin in the dot above us, the source or primordial soup of everything. You, me, everything here originated from the same womb, not as multiple births, but as one creation. Can you feel this? Who then are you? And what is the all that you're part of? Well, what would you say to one of your 70 trillion body cells that woke up this morning in the awareness that, differently than expected, they are part of a much larger body, in a much greater consciousness, and they begin to tremble a little in the fear of totally losing a sense of identity and orientation, and in seeking grip, instead of going into an autoimmune reaction, they decide to turn to you. Although they're not even sure yet whether to believe in you or allow that belief, but the desire to know is greater, and so this little cell breathes deeply and asks you, who am I and what is this all? What is your answer? I will leave it here for this message. There's a lot to unpack here if you want to. I thank Red Clover for this great start that works up our appetite for the next episode. If you would like to digest this message in the holding space of me and Clover, the Clover Plant Session is available. Not only do you work with the consciousness of Clover, but also with the intelligence of the Meadow and the bee consciousness. It's a very transformational field, and the recording is a living field, and Clover will work with you live each time you listen. If you'd like to share any insights or questions that came up during this episode, email me or leave a post on social media so we can unpack this message together. Thank you for listening, and until next time.